Sour. It means you have to refund. So you can imagine how many chicken you ate and how many sheep were slaughtered. It has to be recovered. Keep singing this in the village and that one. You see, they will look down. She went back even back to her place. The eldest brothers, and everything she's had. She needs to stay somewhere. That is seclusion. And she's got to stay indoors. And then she's familiar with the sisters and in-laws and who is who and who is who, because it was a big crowd and all that. So she has to be secluded to heal emotionally, to heal physically, and at least to eat and get used to the feeding of that place. All right. On the other hand, also, the boy has to be incorporated among those who are married. That's what he's going to go through. Now you are married, they will keep reminding him, you are.
Thanks for joining us from the part of globe you are, and welcome to our program, Know Your Culture. I'm Crescent Oma, and of course, I'm privileged to be joining once again Mr. Gabriel Angala, whom will be taking you through the Luhya culture. Of course, earlier on we had discussed about birth, naming, and also the aspect of initiation in the Luhya culture. So we shall be looking at marriage, death, and funeral in details. So continue being with us until at the end. Mr. Gabriel, karibu sana.
Asante.
Happy again to see you once again.
Likewise.
Okay, so let's just go through the marriage aspect, having looked at birth, naming, and initiation. So at what point or age was one considered ready for marriage?
Thank you very much. We had shared about initiation, and we also were able to realize that the one suitable for initiation was just after puberty stage, and the age ranged between 12 above, and that is to mean a young boy of 12, 13, 14, 15 was eligible for initiation. And initiation in your commitment to prepare a young man into adulthood. That is to take up responsibilities in the community. So that is to say, it could be probably the one young happened to be more mature than the one old as per the chronological age. So this to mean it wasn't very specifically at what age one was ready to marry, but what determined one to get married, how responsible one was. How responsible one was. And in your community, if you are 5 boys, 3 boys, the eldest boy was to marry first, then the second and the last. Now, this was actually to help the children to be born. The one for the eldest to be more mature, to be to earn that respect that they deserve. So it was a taboo for the youngest to marry before the eldest. So soon after the initiation, depending on how mature a young man was prepared, and marriage could take place. Now, we had different ways of one getting into marriage. Either an individual initiated it himself, he approached a girl, they talked, and when it was almost due, he would bring the information to the parents. Another way was either a friend, through a friend, could initiate that relationship. If not through friendship, a relative, an aunt, an uncle, anybody, a brother, a cousin, cool. Now, when this one was put across, the elders would sit, and if it was confirmed that the two are not related, then nothing stopped them going ahead in preparation for the marriage. So there is this situation where a young man would have probably developed interest in a girl, but apparently the girl probably was not ready or was not willing to give in. So the boy could still talk to the peers, that I have interest in this girl, although she's not cooperating. Could you please help me? and they were very cooperative. They were ready. This now was to prompt into kidnapping of that lady.
Oh.
And at this stage, a young girl, a repentant girl, would not be allowed to walk alone. Either she was in the company of another girl, a young girl or boy. In case of that kidnapping, the young boy would direct whoever back home and inform that our daughter, our sister, has been taken by some people gone this direction. So it was very well prepared, and people knew it psychologically that anything could happen to their girl. So if you had an interest in a girl who was not cooperative and you really seriously wanted to marry her, you could kidnap her.
So what in the incidents, she has been kidnapped, but the lady's family is against their daughter being married to this other family.
That was not important. What was important is the one married, the boy's relatives. If they were for that family, that would not stop them going ahead and marrying. But if the son happened to pick a girl from a clan that they were not marrying, then that could be an issue. However, what is most interesting here is that at least about 4 young men will be on lookout. That is, if a girl was to go fetching water or firewood, to shopping or something like that, would be timed. So that at least the moment she comes their way, they were ready to pay her way. So in this, if she was carrying firewood, one of the young men who carried the firewood right to their home, directed by whoever, the young boy, the young girl that was in company of this girl. And remember, she's screaming, she's making a lot of noise all over. And there are these two. Their work is to guard this lady. There is this one who is going to grip her, the upper part of the body, and this one, the lower limbs, as she keeps also struggling for her safety. And there's this one who is going to be their bouncer to make sure that they are secure. No one needs to stop them from whatever they are doing. So the man will be waiting this at home. He will not be in this group. He is waiting for this girl to be brought. Right? If successfully brought, then he was out to give some local brew to these fellows and some feasting, so that at least they feel they have done some job. And on the other hand, the other gentleman who was to carry whatever this girl was carrying, whether it was water or it was firewood, whichever the thing that the girl was to take home, directed by the small boy girl, where is your home? So she will go crying, but behind this man carrying whatever the girl had carried. And be careful, the man should be very, very strong to fight back should he be attacked. Because remember, everybody thinks the small boy or small girl crying. Indication that was in a company of an elder sister who might have been taken away. Screaming and wailing everywhere. So the chaos here would tell that something's not right. So the man taking whatever home to the girl's place must be also a good runner and must be strong. In case he's gotten up, she'll fight back and escape.
You talked of the lady screaming. To those people who were in the neighborhood, could they come to rescue her?
Okay, it was very normal. So they would just have fun of it. Apart from the really brothers and cousins who will confront and fight to bring their sister back home. Now, the wailing and screaming was very significant, remember? Announced to the ancestors that now I'm gone, I've been taken. So it was very symbolic. You cannot be kidnapped and they'll just keep silent. It's like you had given the consent. Remember, the girl was not to let it like, I'm willing to go. So she had to resist. So this was the girl who is morally upright, will not just easily be taken away by these boys. So she will scream and all that. And strongly, the ones carrying her have to make sure that the work is successful. So once that one is done, the people you are asking around the villagers have already witnessed that this girl has been taken away. So this now, it is going to help the one marrying to stay outside around the grandma's place, because they can easily be chased away. So for this, they are 50-50. They can be accepted, they can be rejected. So they stayed there And of course, women prepared their grains from outside there. And then they will salute her. They will introduce themselves to her, who they were. And she will go right inside the house to tell the mom, the father to the daughter, that our daughter might have gone to some people. They are outside here. They want to introduce themselves. If the man has no problem because has listened very keenly, will now allow them in. He has no problem. But if they are not for the clan, then it is very wise for the visitors because anything can happen. They have to be ready to run away or anything. So the moment they're allowed in, that was okay. And if the man was not for it, they were actually to forget. Okay. So that's one. Another one where the boy himself.
Still there.
Yes.
At that point, maybe you said they could either be accepted or rejected.
Yeah.
In the point whereby they are rejected and yet these families' daughters' virginity has already been taken away, could she still be married by a different man?
Now the elders will come in. The council of elders will look into the matter. If there's no relationship, they will go step by step, and probably they will find out if the girl will not have a problem staying there. But if the girl still resists, cannot be there, no matter what will have happened, what is going to happen now? The boy and the family will be fined for that development.
Yes. What was the form
of course, either giving animals or grains. That's what basically was there in terms of an animal. For that particular act. And of course now the wait if probably the girl is conceived or did not conceive, but also doing away with the one to be born was not a big deal. All that it was, if they were not for that clan, the council of elders will still work out to make sure that the girl is rescued.
So in that point, maybe she conceived, will they wait for the girl to give birth? And if she gives birth, where will the kid be taken? Will the kid be taken
that kind of a child?
Family or kind of family?
That kind of a child is unwanted child, and this is to mean within the clans we have barren women, and if that child was to be born, then carefully could probably be taken to somebody, a barren woman somewhere. But still, the child could be taken back to the father's home, but you pay for that child, right? Yes, because legally that child belongs to that family, and the child belongs to them. So, unlike where the girl did not reveal with whom she conceived, so that now that child could be taken over to somebody barren somewhere, or maybe a girl getting a child with a relative. That could also be organized. The child will be born, but the girl will not be allowed to see the baby and will be taken far away to somebody barren.
Well, that's if a child is
in case of incest. In case of incest. However, for this one, it's well known with whom she conceived. So they can prepare, the child can be born, but she counts back.
So when we talk about animals, do you have specific number of cows, goats, and sheep?
Proper marriage. Remember, we have now introduced one another. We have engaged into courtship, which means things can still work. We have to negotiate about dowry, and this they were not saying how many cows, how many. They talked of the statistics. For example, the in-laws will come. And then, as they are seated, the parents to the girl will tie some bundle of sticks and throw it to them. Then they will excuse and get out of homestead. They will count them and they see if it's favorable. If it is too much of it, they will subtract and come back home again. Then they will throw it back again. All right? Then they look at it. If they agree to it, fine. If not, they will add again something. And then they come to the agreement. Now, once that one is done, now they will say, basically, when you are with this lady, you quarrel. You may have some misunderstandings. And the abuse and not abuse comes out is the mother or something. So they will say, there's something to give you a go ahead to abuse in the name of the mother or something like that. Pay how many gods, 1 or 2, depending on what. So that should you by mistake probably a fool like the mother or something, foolish like the mother or something, that one you have already paid for in another animals. There is this one also you have to pay for the ants, because when this child is growing up, the ants are the one in charge of taking care of this baby. The work they did to this girl, they have to be given some presents that can be given in form of clothing or something like that. That is something to appreciate the aunties, the uncles, to appreciate the grandparents and all that. So with dowry, it had no end. It was continuous thing, and it was in form of like that. And remember, when again they start raising children, when they start bearing children, this time the mother, the girl, is the one to shave the baby. And you don't just say shave, there's something to be given. So you can, all those presents work. Another thing you need to understand also, that as they keep exchanging the visits, the in-laws, whatever you are cooked, whatever you are presented, it's very, very important. It's part of the dowry. Should the relationship turn sour, it means you have to refund. All right? Because there's a lot that is coming. They are exchanging in that form. So the girl was advised to stay. And in the case of that one, because remember it's a communal thing, the brothers came in and actually they protected the marriage. It does not mean that people never had misunderstandings. But when this one happened, the girl was advised to run first to the in-laws, not to her home. If she was for the marriage, then she ran to the in-laws, either to the mother-in-law, to the father-in-law, to the brother-in-laws. That means she's for the marriage. But this misunderstanding, they will come in, they will intervene to protect her. But if she happened to run away, there is this, what we call the termites. Termites in Luhya land, people like it. Now, if she was to run away, if she was running away, and the termites has happened to start coming out, and she starts consuming, do you know time is going? She reaches a point and says, no, but I just came back. And there we have another proverb, parable, that this one, because she kept eating, not realizing she was running away. Like the question of the warthog, being chased by a lion, only to reach a point and forget that somebody was chasing after me. And now, it becomes very risky. Another thing was the girl, both girl and boy, they considered their structures. Physically, they were to be fitting. Or there's a lot that is expected of them. For example, a boy has to be very strong, has to earn a living for the family. So must be very, very strong, a hardworking person. Likewise, also the girl has to be realized that this is somebody who can raise the rest of the children. But remember, the age you are talking of these people to get married is fairly very young. 15. Yes. Now you can imagine when the two get married, they don't start by themselves. They will have still be taken care of in their mother's house. So in the boy's mother's house. So this girl has to be told what the husband to be liked and does not like. The temperament. So that those were the factors also that contributed to long lasting of marriages. Because the mother-in-law is in position to educate the young girl getting married what they like and what they don't like. And she adopts it.
In the sense of laziness, was that marriage going to be terminated?
No.
If the lady was lazy?
Now, leave alone termination. It not take place. Remember, the courtship does not warrant one to get married. Courtship is to understand, to know the other partner. So if it has been realized and noted that the other person is lazy, they just cancel it. It will not proceed. I remember when the two are together, you cannot say that this one's lazy or not. That's why the aunties are there, the relatives are there on the other side to monitor, and that's why they are saying, you are who? Who of who? Who is your grandparent? You are coming from where? Which clan? There also you might have a friend or a relative who knows the other. Through that person, they will know the details. Whether there's witchcraft in that, there are people that you can relate with or not, it will be informed. So before they start now engaging into the dowry exchange, the wedding preparation, and marriage established, much would have been done.
So under a dowry, maybe what would be the case whereby the girl's family gave a huge, requested a huge number of cattle or the dowry, which maybe the man's family couldn't afford, could lead to maybe the end of
I've
that
told
family
you that
relationship.
marriage is not an individual issue, it's a communal. So I'm telling you right from the time of initiation.
Yeah.
The boy went announcing, I'm going to undergo the initiation to the uncle, the aunt, and they contributed what the boy was going to eat. Likewise, when the boy has graduated during initiation, the boy has to start again taking care of the animals or something. He's now to take care of the property.
Yeah.
So they introduce this by what he's going to acquire from the uncle's place, from the auntie's place, in form of chickens or sheep or goats or cows or something like that one. That's mine. The boy now has to start owning that ownership. And remember, when he's now going to start marrying, the father is going to give a portion of land where they are going to start probably cultivating and putting a few things. But this was still belonging to the entire family because they are still taking care of this boy and girl to grow into a married couple. All right. Now, with that one, it's not a big deal because if your father is poor, you approached his brother, your uncle. You went to another uncle, maybe you got one cow, 2 cows or something, the goats or something, whichever you get. Because they are out to make sure that you marry. And if that was the case, the cousins also will come in. They are the people to drive this to your in-laws' place. So actually, it was not the case of being poor because you are not alone in the clan.
Exactly.
You are not alone in the clan. It's not like today. You are by yourself. That one, nothing stopped you. Remember, even when the girl has come in, you have now gotten married. It's not you buying food or something. Remember the age? It's still fairly very young.
15, 16.
So basically, there are 2 children under the
parents.
the care of the parents of the boy. They are eating there. They are literally that house. So the only thing that is happening, the girl is now out to be educated, to understand what the family, the entire family likes or does not like. What the boy, the husband to be, likes or does not like. The temperament. So that once now they become now independent, already this girl knows, my husband is of this kind. Something like that.
Okay. So still under courtship, what were some of the steps? Maybe who could be introduced first to the lady's family? Maybe was it the boy, the parents?
We learned sometimes that who taught sexual matter to the young people, grandparents. Now, these are the suitable people first to disclose. I have a girlfriend. I have a boyfriend. Then, if it was not the grandparents, your brother, sister, or the uncle, aunties, these are the people. Before the parents. And when it came to the parents, the right person between the father and mother, it was the mother. Remember, like the case of kidnapping, those in-laws have come. They have first met who? The mother. So it is the mother who has investigated this, inquired this, did the interview, the necessary, and now those inquiries are going to be fed back to the husband. And the husband, listening very carefully, has no problem. Now we'll say, let them in. I get your point. It goes like that. Because the man was final. And the man was not careless to say anything. And if he was to say something, not him directly, some other elders will come. And on behalf, we have a spokesperson. Remember, should this marriage take place and carelessly this man talked, you can imagine the embarrassment. So it was not very easy that this man directly will be talking or exchanging anything with the in-laws. Somebody else should be there as a spokesperson. The boy to marry also likewise. When he was to go to the girl's place to introduce himself, he never went alone. He went in company of 2 other 2, which means as he was in between them, one of them is the spokesman, a wise person who knows what to say, when to say, and what not to say. what to eat and what they will bring all sorts of things and drinks to eat.
Yeah.
But does not mean now that it's at your disposal, you eat.
Yeah.
He's going to guide you what to consume and what not to consume at the in-laws' place. All right?
Yeah.
But now, of the two, one of them actually, remember, there's paying back of what you are consuming.
Exactly.
So there should be also another person ready to consume properly, so that at least in case things turn sour, we are going to pay back what we consume.
Exactly.
So the drink and what have you, and this one, even if is totally drunk, staggering as they leave the in-laws place, there's no problem. No one will quarrel.
Yeah.
But the eye is on the man married.
Yeah.
That's why even the African house was always round. And there was a small hall to people. As they bring meals in this house now, the boy and the family will be fined for that development. Yes.
What was the form
of course, either giving animals or grains. That's what basically was there. In terms of an animal, for that particular act. Yeah, and of course now the weight, if probably the girl is conceived or did not conceive, but also doing away with the one to be born was not a big deal. All that it was, if they were not for that clan, the council of elders would still work out to make sure that the girl is rescued.
So in that point, maybe she conceived, will they wait for the girl to give birth? And if she gives birth, where will the kid be taken? Will the kid be taken?
That kind of a child. That kind of a child is unwanted child, and this is to mean within the clans we have barren women, and if that child was to be born, then carefully could probably be taken to somebody, a barren woman somewhere, but still the child could be taken back to the father's home, but you pay for that child, right? Yes, because legally that child belongs to that family, and the child belongs to them. So unlike where the girl did not reveal with whom she conceived, so that now that child could be taken over to somebody barren somewhere, or maybe a girl getting a child with a relative, that could also be organized. The child will be born, but the girl will not be allowed to see the baby and will be taken far away to somebody barren.
Well, that's if a child is
in case of incest. In case of incest. Okay. However, for this one, it's well known with whom she conceived. So they can prepare, the child can be born, but she comes back, she's brought back to her parents. So she nurses the pregnancy until it is due. She'll give birth, and the baby, after the baby is of age, will be taken back and they'll have to pay.
So that was one form.
That was one. Another form was maybe through an aunt or something, naturally. And if the two are introduced and they have no problem with one another, what is left now, they engage into what we call courtship. Courtship was meant for the two families to familiarize with one another, so that at least they can be able to dig out, is the girl lazy or she's responsible enough? All those kind of characteristics in either of them, both sides. So at least they have to find out, so that it enhances the long lasting of this marriage. It was actually a communal affair. It was not an individual. When you get into marriage, it is a communal affair. So they expected their young one to marry and raise the children, of course, because they needed the continuity of that race. Maybe if there's something else you want to know about.
Courtship, maybe you finish courtship, we are into the dowry thing. What was the form of dowry?
Dowry basically was in form of animals, grains, and the cereals. It was either millet, finger millet. That's what we had. Cassava was also grown, and then we had local brew. We had goats, sheep, cows, and all that. They considered that.
So when we talk about animals, maybe do you have specific number of cows, goats, and sheep?
Proper marriage. Remember, we have now introduced one another. We have engaged into courtship, which means things can still work. We have to negotiate about dowry, and this they were not saying how many cows, how many. They talked of they issued states. For example, the in-laws will come, and then as they are seated, the parents to the girl will tie some bundle of sticks and throw it to them. Then they will excuse and get out of homestead. They will count them and they see if it's favorable. If it is too much of it, they will subtract and come back home again. Then they will throw it back again. All right? Then they look at it. If they agree to it, fine. If not, they will add again something. And then they come to the agreement. Now, once that one is done, now they will say, basically, when you are with this lady, you quarrel. You may have some misunderstandings. And the abuse and what have you, what comes out is the mother or something. So they will say, there's something to give you a go ahead to abuse in the name of the mother or something like that. Pay how many gods, 1 or 2, it depends on what. So that should you, by mistake, probably a fool like the mother or something, foolish like the mother or something, that one you have already paid for it. There is this one also you have to pay for the aunts, because when this child is growing up, the aunts are the one in charge of taking care of this baby. The work they did to this girl, they have to be given some presents, and they can be given in form of clothing or something like that. But at least something to appreciate the aunties, the uncles, to appreciate the grandparents and all that. So with dowry, it had no end. It was continuous thing. And it was in form of like that. And remember, when again they start raising children, when they start bearing children, this time the mother to the girl is the one to shave the baby. And you don't just say shave, there's something to be given. So you can all those presents work. Another thing you need to understand also that as they keep exchanging the visits, the in-laws, whatever you are cooked, whatever you are presented, it's very, very important. It's part of the dowry. Should the relationship turn sour, it means you have to refund. So you can imagine how many chicken you ate and how many sheep were slaughtered. It has to be recounted and you have to pay back. And that's why it became very expensive if a girl was not to stay in marriage. All right? Because there's a lot that is coming. They are exchanging in that form. So the girl was advised to stay. And in the case of that one, because remember it's a communal thing, the brothers came in and actually they protected the marriage. It does not mean that people never had misunderstandings. But when this one happened, the girl was advised to run fast to the in-laws, not to her home. If she was for the marriage, then she ran to the in-laws, either to the mother-in-law, to the father-in-law, to the brother-in-laws. That means she's for the marriage. But this misunderstanding, they will come in, they will intervene to protect her. But if she happened to run away, there is this, what we call the termites. Termites in Luhya land, people like it. Now, if she was to run away, if she was running away, and the termites happened to start coming out, and she starts consuming, do you know time is going? She reaches a point and says, no, better I just stand back. And there we have another proverb, parable, that this one, because she kept eating, not realizing she was running away. Like the question of the warthog, being chased by a lion, only to reach a point and forget that somebody was chasing after them. And now, it becomes very risky. Another thing was both girl and boys, they considered their structures. Now, physically, they were to be fit. Or there's a lot that is expected of them. For example, a boy has to be very strong, has to earn a living for the family. So must be very, very strong, a hard-working person. Likewise, also the girl has to be realized that this is somebody who can raise the children. But remember the age you are talking of these people to get married is fairly very young. 15, 14. Yes. Now you can imagine when the two get married, they don't start by themselves. they will have still be taken care of in their mother's house. So in the boy's mother's house. So this girl has to be told what the husband to be likes and does not like. The temperament. So that those were the factors also that contributed to long-lasting of marriages. Because the mother-in-law is in position to educate the young girl getting married what they like and what they don't like. And she adopts it.
In the sense of laziness, was that marriage going to be terminated?
No.
If the lady was lazy?
Now, no, leave alone termination. It not take place. Remember, the courtship does not warrant one to get married.
Exactly.
Courtship is to understand, to know the other partner. So if it has been realized and noted that the other person is lazy, they just cancel it. It will not proceed. Yeah. And remember, when the two are together, you cannot say that this one's lazy or not. That's why the aunts are there, the relatives are there on the other side to monitor. And that's why they are saying, you are who? Who of who? Who is your grandparent? You are coming from where? Which clan? There also, we might have a friend or a relative who knows the other person. Through that person, they will know the details. Whether there's witchcraft in that, there are people that you can relate with or not. It will be informed. So before they start now engaging into the dowry exchange, the wedding preparation, and marriage established, much will have been done.
So under a dowry, maybe what would be the case whereby the girl's family gave a huge, maybe requested a huge number of cattle or the dowry, which maybe the man's family couldn't afford? Could it lead to maybe the
I've told you that marriage is not an individual issue. It's a communal. So I'm telling you right from the time of initiation. The boy went announcing, I'm going to, and I got the initiation to the uncle, the aunt, and they contributed what the boy was going to eat. Likewise, when the boy has graduated with initiation, the boy has to start again taking care of the animals or something. He's now to take care of the property. So they introduced this by what he's going to acquire from the uncle's place, from the auntie's place, in form of chickens or sheep or goats or cows or something like that one. That's mine. The boy now has to start owning that ownership. And remember, when he's now going to start marrying, the father is going to give a portion of land where they are going to start probably cultivating and putting a few things. But this was still belonging to the entire family because they are still taking care of this boy and girl to grow into a married couple. All right. Now, with that one, it's not a big deal because if your father is poor, you approached his brother, your uncle. You went to another uncle. Maybe you got one cow, 2 cows or something, the goats or something, whichever you get. Because they are out to make sure that you marry. And if that was the case, the cousins also will come in. They are the people to drive this to your in-laws' place. So actually, it was not the case of being poor because you are not alone in the clan.
Exactly.
You are not alone in the clan. It's not like today. You are by yourself. Yeah, that one, nothing stopped you. Remember, even when the girl has come in, you have now gotten married. It's not you buying food or something. Remember the age. It's still fairly very young.
15, 16.
So
Very
basically, there are 2 children under the
parents.
the care of the parents of the boy. They are eating there. They are literally that house. So the only thing that is happening, the girl is now out to be educated, to understand what the family, the entire family likes or does not like. What the boy, the husband to be, likes or does not like. The temperament. So that once now they become now independent, already this girl knows my husband is of this kind. Something like that.
Okay. So still under courtship, what were some of the steps? Maybe who could be introduced first to the lady's family? Maybe was it the boy, the parents?
We learned sometimes that who taught sexual matter to the young people, grandparents. Now, these are the suitable people first to disclose. I have a girlfriend. I have a boyfriend. Then, if it was not the grandparents, your brother, sister, or the uncle, aunties, these are the people. Before the parents.
Yeah.
And when it came to the parents, the right person between the father and mother, it was the mother.
Yeah.
Remember, like the case of kidnapping, those in-laws have come. They have first met who? The mother.
Yeah.
So it is the mother who has investigated this, inquired this, did the interview, the necessary, and now those inquiries are going to be fed back to the husband.
Yeah.
And the husband listening very carefully has no problem. Now we'll say let them in.
Yeah.
I get the point.
Okay.
It goes like that. Because the man was final. And the man was not careless to say anything. And if he was to say something, not him directly, some other elders will come. And on behalf, we have a spokesperson.
Yeah.
Remember, should this marriage take place and carelessly this man talked, you can imagine the embarrassment.
Yeah.
So it was not very easy that this man directly be talking or exchanging anything with the in-laws. Yeah. Somebody else should be there as a spokesperson. Yeah. The boy to marry also likewise. When he was to go to the girl's place to introduce himself, he never went alone. Yeah. He went in company of other two, which means as he was in between them, one of them is the spokesman, a wise person who knows what to say, when to say, and what not to say. What to eat and what not. They will bring all sorts of things and drinks to eat. Yeah. But does not mean now that it's at your disposal, you eat. Yeah. He's going to guide you what to consume and what not to consume at the in-laws place. All right? Yeah. But now, of the two, one of them actually, remember, there's paying back of what you are consuming. Exactly. So there should also another person ready to consume properly, so that at least in case things turn sour, we are going to pay back what we consume. Exactly. So the drink and what have you, and this one, even you quarrel. But the thing, the eye is on the man married. Yeah. That's why even the African house was always round. And there was a small hall to people. As they bring meals in this house and you are left on your own as in-laws, in company of at least one of their cousins or something to accompany you. Yeah. But there is a hall somebody's peeping. Yeah. When you are by yourself, how do you behave? Who get report? Yeah. That man is well behaved or not behaved. Yeah. So anyway, courtship was very significant, and at the same time also, we thank God that among the Luhyas we had what we call superstitions and taboos. Yeah. This assisted because the moment it is stuck in the mind of a young person that it's a taboo to do this, even if they were by themselves, they never went ahead and did this. Like for the case of maintaining virginity, it does not mean that boys never met and girls. They met, but one under the supervision of a very wise elder. If not, the taboos, a young man grew knowing that it's bad to defile a girl. Yeah. And again, it was also for the girl bad thing to easily give herself to who? To the boyfriend. Yeah. Yeah. Because it was waiting at marriage. Yeah. Exactly. During now, after the exchange of dowry and all that, and people are in now for the marriage. Yeah. During daytime, a girl will be brought to the home of the boy. Yeah. And the boy also awaiting in company of relatives. Yeah. The other side. These are two different teams now. Yeah. A wise eldest lady, a grandma, was to inspect the room where they were going to have sex publicly. Right? That nothing sharp, because bleeding was expected. Yeah. Screaming of a girl was expected during the act. So the girl is first driven in that room. And people are waiting out there. And it's like a stadium. And the boy now is driven in. And they are cheering this fellow. They are cheering them. There are two teams going to fight. Yeah. Now, if the boy had engaged in masturbation or some queer funny behavior immorally, he might not be able to erect, which means nothing will take place upon him. Yes. Now, to keep your name, it meant that the boy also went by the superstitions and the taboos until that particular time, so that he can perform as a true man. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Where he can pierce and make sure that the virgin girl is bleeding and the virgin girl is crying because of the pain. All this time, on the other hand, no, they are not watching, they are in a room, but waiting for relation. Oh. Because there's no way you can tell whether the goal has been made unless the referee has whistled. So there is a whistle that has to be made to signify that it is actually perform.
But a lady can just pretend wailing so that people can say.
That's why this a wise lady inspecting that room. No sharp object for anybody to tear away, to make bleeding or something.
Yeah.
And she's right there hiding. So there's nothing that will happen.
Okay.
So the river is there. Now, once the screaming has been done, the bed sheets on which they were sleeping and the blade on will be taken with a lot of care and will be handed over to the mother, biological mother to the girl. Now this means I'm now getting back my virginity to you.
Yeah.
This is a woman who is going to be highly respected. On the other hand, the girl also has been observed publicly that she was a virgin.
Yeah.
She took good care of herself. Now, when the young girls growing come up as she elders, she's the one who is going to be given the responsibility of taking care of the other girls around. So that one was very important because till the time now the girls' relatives can demand of any amount of dowry they want. They feel proud about it. Unlike if the girl was already prepared and lost virginity.
Was the dowry given after the first sexual
I've told you the dowry has no end. The dowry is a continuous process. But what I'm saying that whatever that is coming, they can also reach upon and say, we need this for the aunt, we need this for the mother, we need this for the grandparents, we need. So it now goes depending on how clean the girl was at the time of marriage.
What of the instance whereby the lady was not virgin?
Now you can understand the ridicule now. The insult of the careless mother who never knew how to take care of the daughter and the family and what have you. Who are you? The clan. I remember a clan, you are here in Rongai, a clan could be covered in the whole of this Rongai. So you can imagine the family scattered, countable. So you can be able to know that family, and it's going to be all over. That such and such family is an immoral family. They do not care about their virginity or something like that. So no one will wish to get married to that family. So people will now eye at this. Should there be any other girl? This is the family to marry. Yes, this is the family to marry. Yeah.
Now the family has already begun. How did the Luhya community know that maybe this kid does not belong to this man? Maybe in the case where the wife cheated on the husband.
Now that one, even today, it's only the mother who knows the father to the child.
Exactly.
Now, with the case of polygamism in the Luhya community, it was not automatic that whoever the child is your child. Yeah, in-laws could still raise up children with you. Okay, there's this saying that will say, do not keep the eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Right. Now, if you are thinking probably this our son is the one who's going to raise up children with this woman, and probably does not have good seed.
Yeah.
Why? What about if the brother tried, and probably by the brother we are going to have good children in the family?
Yeah.
So that one was not a big deal. Yeah. Although it was not to be done openly. It was not going to be done openly. Even where the boy is a eunuch. Even where the boy is well known to be born eunuch. They will prepare for him to get married. A young girl will be told about it. The family will know our daughter has gone to somebody eunuch. But there's a ritual to be performed. The boy's family will come up with a bull to be slaughtered, and the cousins and brothers will bear to give them a go-ahead to sleep and raise up children with the angel.
Yeah.
This girl, though she's going to do that, but should not let the husband know with whom she slept. So long as she's pregnant, then the pregnant belongs to the man in the house. Yeah. For him also, he brags around, my wife is pregnant and all that, when he knows very well that he cannot perform. Yeah.
So what about this incident? Maybe the husband of this wife has come to know that this is the man who impregnated my wife.
Now that was carelessness and will bring issues. That's why they never just went to any family for a girl in hand of marriage to this man. They carefully selected a girl and a family, whereby they were to keep a secret.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And when this one was done, the children grew up. They were not to know. that this is not their father. I'm answering the question where we are saying that maybe the woman got a child somewhere else. What will happen? Unless if it is very careless. And if it was out of carelessness, then what happened? Where was the man? Now, the woman came in to raise up children. If you are not absent, if you are absent, for example, you are not there, and somebody did it, it was your mistake. They will see, they maybe penalize the victim if there is need, but the child to be born was still let to grow, but under a lot of care. Remember, there is barrenness. This kind of a child is a suitable child to be handed over to somebody barren, so that the child is fully taken good care of.
Actually, I was to go there. What of in the case whereby the man is impotent, he cannot father the wife.
Could come and marry together with her
husband.
The one who calls her my aunt, they could still marry together, right? That's the same case also. The eldest son will inherit your youngest wife and take care of younger siblings. Yes.
So when the wife's sister maybe comes and bears a child for this man, after bearing the child, was that lady supposed to remain in that homestead?
She has come to marry. She came in to marry.
So they stayed two of them?
Yes, and because the woman went to select, she has a lot of respect for this lady. She will do what this lady wants. So herself, the children, right?
I was
now
there. Were the kids considered for the first wife or the sister who came in the second?
Okay, they're the sisters because you have the first wife, second wife, blah blah, like that. But remember, she's the one, the eldest wife, stands in with a lot of respect. So whatever she says is what will be followed. And even how to run that other family, the first wife will. Now there is this other one where I wanted to ask. Suppose the failure is on the husband. All right? And that's why I brought in the issue of a eunuch. All right? Discovered. Because don't forget that when the boy is of age, they are expecting, might have slept with somebody in the village, maybe there's a child growing. And when it comes to that, you have to understand that that child was brought back home because it is our blood. And that's why, again, I'm telling you, unwanted children, what happened? A child was a blessing, was brought to the husband's place. All that you are going to do, you pay something in place for that child. So that now we appreciate a mother wherever gave us a child to inherit. All right? So the child was brought. Now, if we are seeing our boys of age is not married, we go to the peers. How is your brother out there? Does he talk to the girls or something? No, he's dormant. Now, they will find out another way. Because anything might have happened from the time the mother was bathing the boy. Because any other time the mother is bathing this small boy, just that campaigns, if the campaigns can stand. Naturally, if the baby boy is urinating, that's something supposed to start. When the boy has been sleeping when waking up, or when the boy is maybe helping himself or something. So all these are signs and symptoms the boy is okay. But when the boy has now, after the puberty and adolescence, anything could happen there. And now, how do we tell? Remember, they have been told now, keep off from the kitchen, keep off from the girls, keep off from the women. Now, the only person who can tell this, it is the aunt, a sister to the father, who can be allowed to interact very close to the boy to detect can this boy perform. Now, maybe he's not courageous enough to approach girls. They will prepare for him a girl to marry. All right, for that case. But there is also this boy that could be maybe very sexually active, and probably has messed up there and well known. The children will see brought. So that was not a big deal. Although because of respect, they expected at least the two to come together fresh. The other one coming from the other one, but you could not control.
So if we were brothers, and maybe I'm impotent, I cannot father a lady. Maybe will you come in and maybe sleep with my wife? And in that case, will the kids be considered mine or yours?
Don't forget that the way the young boys and girls were brought up in your community by itself will not allow render someone impotent.
Yeah.
Remember, there are factors that are causing this today. That time, the boy will be well known. This one is a performer, all right?
Yeah.
This now runs from the family. This boy, the father to the father, going along that family tree.
Yeah.
Nothing of the sort is realized.
Yeah.
And where it is realized, they have discovered this boy as he grows. And that's why they are going to prepare for him a lady and a well-known family to be talked to. The problem of their son.
Yeah.
Now he's coming in. And remember that issue of a ritual to allow the cousins and brothers to sleep with this lady.
Yeah.
So that was not that big problem, right?
Yeah.
Now, cleverly also this girl, as they go fetching firewood, as they stay with the grandparents or something like that one, they had what they could cause, all right? I remember it's only the wife, the woman who knows who is the father to my children.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, with that one again, was not to be allowed so publicly. That was going to be so loose.
Yeah.
That so and so can sleep with so and so.
Exactly.
But don't forget that I'm telling you, when this woman is coming, it's our wife, not your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that mean? It means anything can happen among the brothers and cousins.
I get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
And as they gossip, probably the mother or something say, brother so and so, he looks, why can't you get his seed? And that one will be very secretive.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
For the sake of the woman. Because in the absence of the man, the savior to this woman are children. So she's also playing it cleverly that in case tomorrow she should be having somebody of good head in the family.
Yeah.
Now if you went and probably dwell on one side and probably this man, the genes are not producing the upright people. You also try elsewhere.
Exactly.
But secretive.
Yeah.
Not openly.
Yeah.
Not open.
There is this belief, I don't know if it's real or a conspiracy theory, that if I maybe if you're my brother and you happen to sleep with my wife, then when we are
You are married, you have to do this, don't do that. This is how you take care of the in-laws and all that. So that one was, remember, this boy and girl have been trained during courtship.
Yeah.
It was a moment of separation, training moment. Yeah. They were trained this and that and that and that, learn this and that and that, what they like the other side, what they don't like this side.
Yeah.
So after that separation, they are now coming in. And during this time, there's a lot of pain, humiliation and all that. Psychologically, you are not yourself during this particular time. And physically, the pain the girl is going to go through and all that. That is transition. There's a lot of pain. To stand that emotionally. Now, if you stand it, and it's because of the challenges you are being given, you are trained, you are exposed to a lot of hardships, so that this you'll expect. So even when you are with their peers, something may happen, somebody may give you a punch, you are not expected to cry because you have to stand as a man. So they keep telling you are a man. Stand it, you are a man. You are standing, you are a woman. You know, the women, the girls went tattooing themselves and what have you, expecting there is piercing of the penis in your body and it's painful. So they have to stand. That's why you find them piercing the ears and what can they, that pain on their body, the tattooing and all that. It was a preparation for this kind of moment. Now, after that one, it has been, the seclusion has been done. The incorporation time now. There's that time now. I've told you, the girl is going to fit in the mother-in-law's house. The boy is still there. They are only going to sleep. So the incorporation, it will be a time now they are going to prepare for them to start cooking in their house. And they will gradually start that. Maybe just to prepare breakfast or something like that. When they are going to dig, as much as they are digging this portion of land, it is still from the family. But now they are going to, it is going to the time. They say now you can start. Maybe when he's having 2 children or so, Now you can start at your homestead,
Okay.
the other side.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now, that's now when they are going to incorporate. Now it's going to be among those who are married.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And now takes it up like that. There's a ceremony. Now it's among the. Remember, you have started raising up children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the Luhya community, how did you take these incidents whereby maybe the man is only the wife is only giving birth to children of the same gender, maybe
Same sex.
Yeah.
That one
pure
also.
ladies or pure boys?
Marrying more than one wife, it was allowed. So it was not a big deal. I have told you,
Yeah.
don't put all your eggs in one basket. So that is, if this what you can produce in this one, you have a right to checking also. Can I store them here?
Yeah.
Now what is happening here? The respect is also important. The girl, your wife, is given room to look for you another wife.
Yeah.
She can go back to her people and get somebody. Because of that rivalry, she's the one who is given the mandate. Go look for your husband, another woman, so that we can now have this continuity. I remember when, no matter how many wives are, all these children belong to them.
Yeah.
And the first wife remained the wife. These are and supervising these other fellows and their children.
Yeah.
Now, a child did not have a specific mother. All these were their mother.
Yeah.
So you can imagine a homestead where they say the youngest girl mother is the one in charge of feeding the family. So if you are hungry, that house.
Yeah.
And in case of probably anything or something, that house. So that was because the man had his central house in the middle, and he knew how to go around these houses. And a man was allowed to get back to the house after giving birth. When the baby born can be sent, bring me some water.
Yeah.
That is around 4 years or something. This man can now get back to that house.
Yeah.
It does not mean all this time the woman does not need sex, but she can play it cleverly.
Yeah.
Approach the other family and with a lot of polite and regard.
Yeah.
Request the husband. On the other side, the fence is spoiled. Come and help me to mend it. In the process of making that fence or something, they may have a share and then they go. And then go until you come back again. I get the point. So, and it was so conducive. It was so conducive in a sense that it was actually mutual love, because there was a lot of respect. The one who was married lately and the one who was married earlier, the support was welcome. So you can imagine a family of 5 wives and children going to the farm. They will harvest enough because they are going to plant and get their food, and all will be okay.
So, how did the Luhya community take these incidents whereby the wife gives birth to a physically challenged baby?
Okay, that was a taboo also. And with marriage, don't forget, even when a woman gives birth to twin babies, it was a taboo.
So that is
it
twins.
was a taboo.
Twins.
Yes. This it was not accepted. So that is now to scare away the spirits, the bad spirits. The sister-in-laws to the wife giving the birth will have to beat her up. They are going to whip her just after giving birth to scare away the spirits, bad spirits, because giving birth to more than one child is risky to the wife, and death can occur. So they are going to scare away spirits by beating or whipping this lady. So you can imagine that was one. Now, when it came to the deformity, which was not again acceptable, well, that child was supposed to be suffocated. That child was supposed to be suffocated, not to let it grow, because not like today where due to such a technology, there's a way you can also bring up that kind of a child. And again, you'll understand many things can cause that. And anything happening back to the children, it was believed that it was from the side of the lady, not the man. So it was very unfortunate, but we thank God the science and technology, the education system has come in, the Christianity has come in to save the life of the lady. So what we can say that it was not a clean thing. For one, during courtship, unlike what's happened today, they were looking into so many things. If in that family you are going to get married, there are those kind of things. You are not allowed to marry. For definitely that one is going to follow. And imagine, unfortunately today people have gone to class, but they cannot be able to tell you this. You know, you are supposed to be talking of the personality types to marry. People with a lot of knowledge, they have not the idea. They are not following that. Now again, the conditions, some conditions which actually are in genes, inheritance. Now you know very well that the one you are courting, in their family, a brother has maybe marks like this trophy. This attacks boys around 15, 14, and bring them down, definitely. They can only last to 17 years old of age or something like that. Then you are going to have your home turned into a graveyard. You are going ahead and marrying a girl whose brother is of this condition. You know she's the carrier. the legal community will not allow you to marry now. And that one by itself, it avoids it minimized. So you not have those cases here. So the chances that you are going to have a lady married and raising or giving birth to a child who is a deformed child was not. And don't forget that the marriage is a communal. The pregnancy is communal. The baby is ours. This wife is ours. So you can imagine the responsibility every person in this community has taken. The pregnancy is going to be taken good care of by every member of the family. So those misfortunes that can come, maybe the woman was carrying a heavy load, she fell down and something happened to the baby. It was not the case. If maybe, like for example, it's got rain and a lot of lightning, maybe some metals around there, she was taken good care of that nothing is going to strike. I get the point. If this woman was walking, was in a company, if it means a small boy or girl, she can say, call me somebody. I'm not feeling well. So they were so close, and midwives they were there with them. As much as we didn't have hospitals, but midwives were there. People who are specialized in taking care of the pregnancy. In case of poor positioning of the baby in the womb or something, it is something that was taken good care of long ago. Massaging this lady and all that, they were taking control of that. So you not. Unlike today, you are every time on duty and everything, you are not caring about what's growing in you. You are there and dressed in trousers, tight trousers, something, and endangering the life of the child you are going to be married to. No, yet you went to school. But those fellows, actually, the way traditionally the Luhyas were taking care of the pregnant mother was okay. They were prohibited from eating too much protein, like chicken, meat, and eggs. Just basically, they knew if one was to eat this, the one growing would fatten, would overgrow. What about now when it comes to giving birth? So they believed they were to eat. They ate food that was to give them energy and only to remain strong when it comes to giving birth. They are strong enough and they cannot lose more blood than what they have. They still were able. And in African community, let me tell you, most of the women could give birth by themselves and bring a baby home. Leave alone today where people are between, there is, I don't know how many doctors and in theater and everything, nurses included, but still they come out dead. Either baby is dead or the mother is dead in spite of that. But there, a woman was fed enough and taken good care of her health that she could still give birth by herself.
Okay, maybe just to conclude, there's always, of course, culture diversity. I know among the Kikuyu, in case of divorce, the wife will go with the kids. What of the same in the Luhya culture?
Just hold that one. I wanted you to understand this. We had the separation where the education was taking place during courtship. We had the transition where there was some pain and prepared to endure it. Now we are going to have the incorporation. Now, just like we looked at birth and naming, we are now this woman who is married, as she nurses her pregnancy and all that. When now the pregnancy is almost due, she's supposed to be having around her a razor blade, thread, and a piece of cloth to wrap the baby. Don't forget that she's having somebody in company in case of anything. Now you can now understand that this was so symbolic, because one is walking and ready for anything that can take place for the safety of the mother and safety of the kid. All right? You now realize that when it is now the last period, even a week or so, women are going to be in company of this lady in turns. They will be coming in as they attend to their duties in turns, so that in case of anything, they are going to make sure that the lady is safe. Remember, it is something painful and something like that one. So all these, and remember, we get these conditions either prenatal, or perinatal during the act, or postnatal. After. When we talk of deformed children, it could probably have come during pregnancy, and during this time there is this specific food the woman is to eat and not to eat, what to drink and not to drink. Not like today a pregnant mother is smoking, is drinking, and all that in tight clothes, right? It was not the case. And she was in company of elders with experience to advise her, this time is like this, this time is like this. She never slept in the house alone, because you might catch up sleep. What will happen? Even when you have now given birth to that small infant, you may turn this way, only like a tractor landing on a what? A rabbit. Because that small child there next to you, you may turn when you are asleep, only to wake up, the thing suffocated. So even when you are sleeping, there's somebody taking care of your baby and away and in control, so that you can sleep well. The child is also safe, and what you eat. During this time of giving birth, the seclusion is meant for you to eat and heal out as well, right? Remember, the woman has been carrying this heavy pregnancy. Even the shape and what have you, and the embarrassment of giving birth, you need to heal. So you are totally kept off. Now, if it was a baby boy, lulations, 5 of them. If it was a baby girl, 4 lulations to detect that. And now it comes now the time to giving name. All right? We go back to where we started. Well, now here now it will mean all this time you are carrying pregnancy. They were able to tell you, in our community, we name our children after our ancestors. In case of this, this can happen. In case of this can. Now it is not rigid. That is, maybe you are saying if it was a baby boy, I'll call after my grandfather. But today, somebody very famous in the village dies and you give back. Automatically now this one takes up. It changes according to what the elders are going to look at it. And again, where we doubted, the child was put in a place that names will be proposed, and whichever the name is pronounced. If the child's nieces, then that's the accepted. You may give a name to the child, but will keep crying all through. They will come and sit again, say, no, let us change the name. And again, there's no way you will make a mistake to name a child after somebody who will not have lived well in the family. The elders were there. And one person, an elderly person, will now pronounce the name. Either a grandfather or a grandmother will pronounce that name. Now, the question you are asking, whether there is that question, if you remember. Do you remember the question you asked?
I was giving the example of the culture diversity. Like in the Kikuyu culture, in case of a divorce, the woman goes with the kids. How about in the Luhya community?
The Luhya community, I've told you that boy was very sexually active and probably planned out growing all over. All those children are eligible to come. They belong to us. As long as it is proven by the mother, it's your baby who comes. So you can now understand from that statement, children belong to the mother or the father. To the father, right? Now, when the woman comes here, she's saying, I came clean. I didn't have. Remember that ritual? When she's being driven in, she's alone. So from that room, maybe I've met her pregnant. It is from here, not from her home. So the child belongs here. Now, men in Luhya community believe the children are theirs. Women likewise believe children belong to them. Now, for you to get married elsewhere, the man will tell you, can you take this child to the owner first? Come, I'll marry. Very minimal cases where you find a man can marry a lady with a child.
A single mother.
And don't forget that blood is stronger than what?
Yeah.
When you marry this lady with this child, the blood will demand its share.
Yeah.
Might not cope with this. Remember the genes and the behavior. Yeah. Some of the characteristics belong somewhere else.
Yeah.
It may not cope in this environment. So it has to be taken to the other side.
Yeah.
So that you can bring up your children.
Okay.
However, there's this case of wife inheritance. Now, in case of a husband has died, and with these children, the one who is inheriting has no choice. You have to inherit the wife and the children. All right? But now, you don't take her to your place. You are the one who will be visiting this side. The woman remains in her place and children. So you are the one who can visit this way. Not to the other side.
So in the current maybe era, are Luhya still having it difficult to marry single mothers or a woman with, who has already given birth with to a child with a different man?
Life has changed. If you tell me the aspect of virginity, does it exist?
No.
Maybe no.
Minimum.
The food we eat, the lifestyle has changed. Girls are playing football. They are riding mountain bikes. Now, are there members still there? Virginity is already physical gone. But that was a physical thing we are talking about. Now, today, the girl is like that. And that does not by itself tell the girl is immoral. All right? Now, and at the same time also, because of that one, the rate of being true sex maybe, and the food we eat, and the influence of the peers and all that, maybe the girl staying sober and alone is not the case. I've interacted with a girl having a baby with somebody, and you could not match the two. What happened? I asked, and she tells me I was in my brother's house with him, and we were watching some pornography. We found ourselves on hit, and we assisted each other. And that is now the same case also with these social medias. What do you expect of young girls and boys? They are all rotten. A colleague young boys, a colleague teacher, that's almost of your age. I says, Mwalim, we are in trouble. Do we have really a girl anywhere that we are going to find who is still virgin? All these people are rotten because it's not very easy. Because the lifestyle alone, what do you expect if a mother is seeing of a girl in grade 7 and saying, Mama, did you remember to carry them? Those are condoms, isn't it? Remember, because anything can happen. And this is a mother. A mother taking the young daughter in primary, to the doctor for injection. They are practicing already what? Contraceptives. Now what do you expect? Already that child is rotten. Now come here, go to shunned places, go to slums. Whereby what's happening in the other house, it's also realized here. It's also
somebody can give the children.
Now this child here has already known all the types of styles that are required in bed, something like that, at that tender age. Now when she gives it a trial, by the time you are meeting this girl in the university, is she very clean?
No.
Go to the Egerton University where you have been and witness all these things. They are looking for some shopping, sleeping with everybody, careless everywhere, and goes back to the campus. When you meet her in the village, somebody has been in Egerton for 4 years. Was she you'll imagine somebody was in class. Somebody was in class. You have been in campus. When people are now saying, I'm having a class in the afternoon, all this before afternoon, what's happening in this house? I've had a niece. By the time she was in second year in Laikipia University, she had a child, but she got a child there again. Another pregnancy. Because we must get somebody to pay rent. We must get somebody to buy us some land.
All right.
And in the process, so it's not as it was. That was totally different. And today now we are saying the chances of you marrying a woman with a kid, they are very high. They are very, very high because of the circumstance. Unless if you are not ready to marry again. Because you might not get any kid anywhere.
Okay, another day we shall be looking at, is it better to marry a woman with a kid or to marry a lady who cheats on you? That's for another day.